Welcome back to the fellow sport fanatics. The Peak Performance Podcast is back. We are live. Episode number 7. My name is Trevor Dalton, your host, and alongside me is my co-host, Shane Kelly. If you're unfamiliar with us, we are two graduate students at Fresno State studying sports psychology, and we are also very, very avid sports fans. Pretty much our life revolves around sports, and we're okay
100%.
with that. Yeah. So, just wanted to give a thanks to our returning viewers. Your continued support, as always, means the world to us. And for those of you who are new, thanks for giving two goofballs a chance to lighten up your day by talking about sports. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. We love the support and we want feedback. We want suggestions. So keep them coming. Shane, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing great. Getting ready for the NFL draft this afternoon,
Hmm.
and I'm excited to see how it all plays out. It's a pretty decent draft class this year,
Hmm.
and I'm curious to see where all the pieces are going to fall. And then obviously we have NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs tonight, so a lot's going to be kicked off in the next hour.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be great. So this week we decided that we're going to take a little bit of a break from sports psychology. We are not going to include any topics about it today, but we still have a lot to talk about. Obviously, as Shane said, we've got the NFL draft going on tonight. Lots and lots of young men getting their dreams fulfilled tonight, going to the promised land of playing professional football in the National Football League. It's going to be great to analyze that. I think, it's a really interesting draft, obviously. A lot of people are saying that the quarterback class maybe isn't too great this year, but in terms of like positional positions, we got
It's
a lot of talent
stacked.
on the board for sure. Um, so that's going to be a lot of fun tonight. And then obviously right now we've got NHL playoffs going on. My favorite sport in the world, my favorite sporting event ever, the NHL playoffs. It's so amazing. I love every second of it. And then also, of course, we've got NBA playoffs going on as well, the first round of that. So we're going to be giving you guys some analysis of both playoffs and kind of predicting what we think will be going on moving forward. Obviously, Shane's LA Kings right now have a 2-0 lead on the Edmonton Oilers,
Looking
and
so
boy oh boy
good.
do they look phenomenal. And then my team, the New York Islanders, well, they're not in the playoffs, of course. We had a rough year this year, that's for sure. But we are making some changes in the front office. Lou Lamoriello, it was announced that we will not be renewing his contract, so there will be some changes in the front office, which I personally think is needed for the organization. So yeah, and then also to top things off today, we are going to talk a little bit about Champions League. We've got the semifinal matchups between Arsenal and PSG, and then of course Barcelona and Inter Milan. And so yeah, those four things will be the main topics we'll discuss in today's episode. But first, before we get into those topics, just wanted to give a little recap of what's been going on in sports as of late. Of course, we had the Masters tournament a
Let's go,
couple of weeks
Rory.
ago, and Shane Kelly, the prediction master, does it again, calling out Rory McIlroy, picking him to win. Just so happy for Rory. And here's the thing too. I think with Rory, you either love him or you hate him. And I can say from the bottom of our hearts, me and Shane are both big time Rory McIlroy fans. Obviously, you've got the video of him taking the phone away from a patron.
Who
You've
cares?
got you've got him complaining about Live when that all started. You know what? I don't care really. He's allowed to have his opinions, and a lot of people get salty off of that, but I don't care. Grand Slam champion now. I mean,
He's
that
won it
is
all.
it's an unbelievable accomplishment. And the thing too about Rory is he showed so much resiliency, man. I mean, 11 years without a major and 11 years of waiting to get that career grand slam, and now he's finally done it. I mean, thoughts and opinions on Rory McIlroy, Shane.
I mean, I just got to start out by saying anytime there's a 5'7" man and I could watch him drive a ball 371 yards, which he did on the first tee, I gotta support that. Like that is just beautiful.
Unbelievable.
But you brought up resiliency. He talked about that a lot, and it kind of became the theme for him. And we saw it a lot in that fourth and final round. He
Oh
gained
yeah.
a big lead. He threw it away. He had a shot to win, missed the putt. It kind of seemed like everything was going wrong, but every time he picked himself up. That approach shot on 17, that draw around the tree to put it within
Oh,
what 4 feet,
oh,
beautiful.
so
And
good.
then missed the winning birdie putt on 18, pulled himself together, played pretty much a perfect playoff hole. There's not a single
Yeah.
shot that I look at and I'm like, he could have hit that better than he did.
Mhm.
And it's a great moment. Probably the best moment in golf since Tiger winning his Masters.
Yeah,
It was
for
it was
sure.
great to see.
Yeah, I think, and Rory, he becomes, I believe it's the sixth
Think so.
person to complete the career Grand Slam. What a remarkable Sunday he had. I mean, it was very, very up and down, obviously. You know, he hits that incredible draw, 208 yards or whatever it was around the tree to stick it in there. And then he hits that eagle putt. And then, I don't know, he hit that one ball into the water. And next thing you know, he's double bogeying a hole, and it's just, I mean, I'm not going to lie. I thought maybe he was going to collapse. And with the way that Justin Rose was playing, and also shout out to Justin Rose,
Oh,
man.
he
I mean,
played
what
incredible.
what an incredible performance from that guy. I mean, he did everything he could to win. And, unfortunately, I think one round, I think it was the third round, he slipped up a little bit, and that probably costed him because the other three rounds that he had were phenomenal. So shout out to Justin Rose, and what a great accomplishment for Rory, though. I mean, just that Northern Ireland accent, driving the ball 350 yards.
From
I
such a
mean, it
little
was
guy,
it's incredible. And his swing is so pretty too. I could watch that, all day long, of course.
it's the right
Um,
balance of smooth but aggressive. Because
absolutely.
Bryson kind of has that straight up aggressive swing. And you see
hmm
other guys that it's really smooth. They almost never look like they're fully swinging.
hmm
Rory's a combination where it's obviously aggressive, but it
Yeah.
is smooth.
hmm
And I mean, great to see that. I couldn't be happier for him.
Yeah. Greatness from Rory. And as you said, that playoff hole was played perfectly. I mean,
He couldn't have done any
obviously,
better.
to be able to mentally reset after missing the putt in 18 and going to the exact same hole and then hitting that shot that came right down the hill on the green, I mean, it was just perfect. So yeah, shout out to Rory, career Grand Slam champion, um, cements himself easily as one of the all-time greats. And to be honest, I think he's going to win more majors and more PGA events
I
throughout
hope
his
so.
career. So we'll see where he goes with that. And then another thing that I just wanted to touch on really quickly, Alexander Ovechkin, the great eight, has done it. He currently stands alone on top of the National Hockey League goal scoring list. Currently, he's got 897 goals. And obviously, a couple of weeks ago, he passed Wayne Gretzky, who has 894 career goals. And of course, he did it against my New York Islanders, against my favorite player in the entire National Hockey League, and Ilya Sorokin. Um, to be honest, I kind of figured it was going to happen. I was looking at the Capitals' schedule about 2 weeks before he played us, and I was thinking, yeah, might as well just do it against us, right? Might as well to top off the crappy year that we've had. But man, Alex Ovechkin, what a milestone that is. I mean, that record was supposed to not be touched at all. And he's blown it out of the water. And this year, he's just been absolutely phenomenal for the Capitals. Suffered a broken leg in the
And
middle of the
came back
season.
somehow.
Yeah, and not only did he come back, he didn't miss a beat. He came back to the same form that he was in before the injury. And yeah, I mean, just something that's so incredible. So yeah, congratulations to Rory and Alex for those accomplishments. So yeah, that's pretty much what's been going on in sports over the past 2 weeks. And then obviously now we're going to get into the playoffs for the NHL and the NBA. I think first we're going to start off with the NHL. I mean, this is my favorite sporting event.
It's so
It,
good.
it, it's so good. I mean, it seems like every single game is just a war. You know, the physicality it picks up big time in the playoffs. The intensity picks up. Um, Seems like there's not as much space to maneuver really. The defense is really tight and trying to play, you know, a bit conservative. But you've got some teams like the LA Kings who are saying, screw the other team's defense. We're coming right at their throats. And they're putting up 6 goals per game. So
12 goals
pretty
through two
interesting for sure.
games. I love it. You know, anyone that follows hockey knows that Edmonton has ended LA's season each of the last 3 years. And I had hope this year, but also when you see Connor McDavid on the other side, you don't love your odds.
Mhm.
I couldn't have asked for a better start through two games. I'm feeling confident going back to Edmonton. And even if Edmonton wins the next two, I'm still feeling good.
Mhm.
I did want to
Yeah,
talk
I
about
think.
Dallas
Mhm.
for a second. Then we could touch back on the Kings.
Mhm.
Everybody thought they were dead in the water. They had lost 8 or 9 in a row coming into the playoffs. Just haven't looked good. Playing a tough Colorado Avalanche team. I don't know if you're aware of this. They're up 2-1 in the series. They've led for a combined 1 minute and 2 seconds
Mhm.
in 3 games.
Mhm.
It's unreal. They
It's
are getting it
incredible.
done. They're getting it done late.
It's a Yeah. I mean, it's incredible, and I think I think first we'll just go through. We might as well just go through the Western Conference as it is,
Let's do it.
since we're already talking about it. In terms of the Stars and Avalanche series, so I did brackets for both the NHL and the NBA playoffs. I did pick Colorado for that series. The Dallas Stars, obviously, like you said, losing, just not in form going into the playoffs. They also have injury concerns. Miro Heiskanen, their star defenseman from Finland, he's out for the season with injury. And then obviously you've got Jason Robertson too. I'm not too sure if he's played in the series yet, but I know he was out for game one. Um, but yeah, I mean, he hasn't played, it seems like. And they're saying too that he's remaining in Dallas, so didn't even make the trip to Colorado. That's a huge loss too. But in the NHL playoffs, man, you got to have guys that can step into those roles and play well, um, because it's a grind. And I think a big thing that we see in the NHL playoffs is people don't realize how important it is to be big and physical. And you have to be big and physical as a team because you're not going to be able to withstand the intensity and the physicality if you're not big. And it's as simple as that. And you look at a team like the Florida Panthers, they've been able to kind of withstand all the physicality and go far because they're such a big team. Um, I think Dallas is pretty similar. They've got lots of size on that team, Of course, Colorado does as well. And, one of the biggest storylines to note in that series is Mikko Rantanen, who was former player for the Colorado Avalanche, got traded to Carolina during the season. And then right before the trade deadline, Carolina decided it wasn't the right fit and they didn't want to pay him that much. So then they shipped him to the Dallas Stars. And right now, he hasn't really been playing up to potential, kind of still trying to find his stride in a new environment. But man, I've been impressed with Dallas so far. And,
They look real good.
they've got they look really good. They've got great goaltending too. And Jake Ottinger, the American, who's just a stud. I think he's like 6'5", 6'6", well over 200 pounds, just a monster in net for them. So yeah, I mean, I still think that Colorado can win the series. It's really this is something too that I love about playoff series. When you look at it, the Avalanche, they win game one, and I watched that game, they dominated it. Just dominated. Then in game two, it's 3-3 and we're going to overtime. If the Avalanche win that game,
It's
the
over.
series is 2-0 and it's
And
probably
going to
over.
Colorado.
Hmm. They
Series
would have
is
stolen
over.
both games in Dallas, right? And then one goal changes everything, right? They score that goal. Now the series is 1-1, right back up for grabs. And obviously, another overtime victory for them. And they stand on top of that series 2-1. I'm still pretty confident with the Avalanche, though. They've got so much star power. And obviously, we want to give a shout out to Gabriel Landeskog, too. I mean, 3 years of not playing hockey. And then he throws himself back in there with that chronic knee injury,
He looked
captain of the
good.
team, and looked good too. Yeah, looked like he was skating pretty well and was able to withstand the physicality and throw some physicality of his own. So shout out to him, man. And seeing his family there during the warm-ups right on the boards, supporting him. What a cool moment for sure.
That's just something you would never see in another sport.
Hmm.
Could you imagine, say, LeBron James destroys his knee, is out for 3 years? He would never come back. You would retire. But
Hmm.
that's not hockey players. They find a way to come back, and I still think Colorado wins this series, but Dallas has shocked me to start.
Hmm. Yeah, and I think too, going into the playoffs, everybody had their eyes on this matchup because it's really a toss-up. I mean, both teams are just so good. Obviously, they're both in the same division too, big rivals. So it's just a great matchup, obviously. And then going into, I mean, we might as well go over the Kings and the Oilers too. The Kings, they look very, very impressive. I did pick them to beat Edmonton in this series. I really I like teams that go into the playoffs playing well, and the Kings went into the playoffs playing really well, and they beat the Oilers a couple of times during the end of the regular season too. Um, so I think that the Kings are just in a great position. Um, and you look at the talent on that team, you've got Kevin Fiala, Adrian Kempe, you've got Anze Kopitar, the veteran. And then another guy that I want to talk about too is that kid Kuzmenko. I think
Oh,
is
he's a dog.
Andrei Kuzmenko. Is that his name? Yeah,
Yeah.
Andrei Kuzmenko. Kuzmenko. He is so he started off the year in Philadelphia with the Flyers. The LA Kings acquired him right before the trade deadline. Probably one of the best acquisitions so far, easily. I mean, he's been a monster for
He's
them
been
on the power
so
play.
good.
Um, yeah, so the Kings are loaded, and then obviously without good goaltending, you can't win in the playoffs. And the Kings have Darcy Kemper back there, who obviously won the Stanley Cup with the Colorado Avalanche back in 2022 as their starter. So he's got great experience for them in goal. I love where the Kings are at, man. Um, and I've said this before, Adrian Kempe, just he He's one of my favorite players in the league. And then obviously Shane too, big Kevin Fiala fan.
I
So we're gonna
absolutely
really,
love Fiala.
yeah, we're gonna go over those two guys. I mean, in terms of Adrian Kempe, the reason why I love this guy so much, I just get turned on by well-rounded hockey players. It just really, really gets me going, you know. Kempe is just he does everything well. And
Yeah,
I love guys, you look at a guy like Pavel Datsuk, Patrice Bergeron, Mark Stone of the Vegas Golden Knights. There are certain players, especially like offensive players too, who have well-rounded games. So Kempe, just putting this out there, plays on the power play for the Kings, plays on the penalty kill for the Kings. So he's special teams all the time. Um, Very good defensively too, and that's important for offensive players to have. Got to be good offensively and defensively, in my opinion. Adrian Kempe, he's got it all, and I just love his style of play. He's fast, he's big, he's strong. And when he came into the league, he kind of struggled a little bit, 2018 only 37 points, 2019 28 points, but he really found his stride over the last 3 seasons. And then another thing that I want to point out too is one of my favorite stats to look at in terms of hockey to really, really analyze players and to see if they're really good. I love looking at plus minus. I mean,
really.
that gives you an idea of are they on the ice while they're scoring goals or are they getting scored on the ice? So pretty much your plus minus is just if your team scores a goal while you are on the ice, it's a +1. If you get scored against, it's a -1. And so it keeps accumulating over the season. Adrian Kempe, and this is as a penalty killer too. He kills penalties. So you would think maybe that would offset it a little bit and his plus minus wouldn't be as great. He's at +22 for the season, which is phenomenal. I mean, just overall, just one of the most well-rounded, underrated players in the league. I love that guy.
I do want to give a little bit of attention. He is a large he's a large contributor to why the Kings power play is so good.
Hmm?
And it's because of how good he is defensively. And that kind of seems backwards, but he's so good defensively. The Kings don't play with any defensemen on the power play.
Hmm. Hmm.
They go all out attack and just trust that Kempe can hold it down. And he
Hmm.
does.
Yeah, and when you have forwards that are just great puck handlers and great skaters too, Kempe, Fiala, Kopitar, Kuzmenko, all those guys, you don't really need to have a point. Obviously this is really popular in the NHL. You usually have a point defenseman that runs the offense. The Kings don't really need that. They just don't because their offensive firepower is so good. They have guys that can control the puck really well, can skate around really well, pass the puck really well. I mean, Edmonton's got they got a lot to figure out.
But they have the best player in
I
the world,
They
so
have the
you can
best
never
player in the
count him out.
world. Yeah, Connor McDavid is just one of a kind for sure. Obviously, too, they've got Leon Draisaitl there, who's a superstar as well. I've been really surprised with their defense so far. It's been really lackluster, and they've got good players on defense. Evan Bouchard, he's a good player. You've got Darnell Nurse, great veteran player for them. Jake Wallman, who they acquired from the Sharks at the trade deadline, I thought that was a great pickup for them. They've been making a lot of mistakes, though. They just have a lot of defensive errors. Stuart Skinner, obviously, he hasn't been playing too well in goal for them. So Edmonton's got a lot. They've got a big hill to climb in this series. I took the Kings in my bracket. I'm glad I did. And I think they win this series for sure.
I mean, I would love to see that, but A lot of hockey left to be played.
Oh yeah. And you just never know with the playoffs. Like we said with the Avs and Dallas series,
You
things
just
can
don't know.
change just very quickly. Yeah.
Because could you imagine if Dallas goes back to Dallas up 3-1? It's over.
Yeah. I mean, and I think that speaks volumes to how important it is to defend home ice too. Um, when you're the road team in the NHL or the NBA, typically all you're thinking about when you go on the road is winning one of two. You got to steal at least one of them.
Just steal
Um,
one in the entire series and you win.
exactly. But when a team has two home games first and they win and defend home ice for those first two games, that is a big advantage to start off with for sure. Um, so yeah, shout out to the Kings. They look great. And then obviously we've got the Jets going up against the St. Louis Blues. The Blues, man, I tell you what, they finished the season 19-4-2, I believe it was,
That's
to
crazy.
squeak into the playoffs.
They look good. I
Um,
know they're down 2-0, but the Blues have looked really good.
yeah, I mean they've got some solid players too. Obviously, Jordan Kyrou's there now, who's a youngster, really, really good player. And the thing is with him too, he got a lot of hate um when he started his career. Really wasn't he couldn't really find his form, and at one point the Blues fans were booing him, in fact, last year I believe it was. And they interviewed him after that game. He was absolutely devastated, getting booed by his own fans. Shout out to him, man. He has really, really improved his game this year. I've been really impressed with him. And then, of course, you got Jordan Binnington in goal, who was the starting goalie for Canada in the Four Nations tournament. And if you watched him in that final game, holy cow, he stole that game
He was
for
incredible.
Canada. hmm But then, obviously, on the other side, the Winnipeg Jets, they've been pretty much the best team in the NHL the whole entire year. Mark Scheifele, Kyle Connor, those guys have Josh Morrissey, the defenseman, those guys have been unbelievable. And then, of course, you've got the American stud in goal for them, Connor Hellebuck, who is just unbelievable back there for them. So, yeah, I think that with the Winnipeg Jets, they've got Connor Hellebuck back there and been one of the best teams in the NHL so far this year. I mean, pretty much the entire year, they've been at the top of the league. Great run for the Blues. As I said, they went 19-4-2 to get into the playoffs. But the problem for them was that two of those four regulation losses actually came against the Jets, so it wasn't a very good matchup for them. Um,
Yeah, it's not the best
so
matchup
yeah,
there.
no. And then last series in the West, the Golden Knights against the Wild. Obviously, that series is 1-1 right now. The Minnesota Wild looking pretty good. They've got they're healthy now, which is good. Kirill Kaprizov, their star player, he was out for the majority of the season. He's back healthy. You never know with that series. I mean, I think Jack Eichel, he's hasn't really played too well in the series. I think that's going to change. Um, And then obviously Vegas, they've got great goaltending in Aiden Hill. So do the Wild with Philip Gustafson. So, I mean, we'll see about that matchup. I've got Vegas in that. I actually picked Vegas to go to the Stanley Cup final. But man, Minnesota looks good. That's a tough first round matchup for sure for the Golden Knights.
Then transitioning a little bit into the East, we have Lightning are about to drop the puck. They looked
hmm
terrible in game one.
hmm
I think we see a bounce back from them. I mean, great team. Yes, the Florida Panthers are insanely good, but Lightning aren't that bad. They aren't the way they looked in game one. I think we
hmm
go back to Florida, which kind of already are in Florida, but I think they go back 1-1.
Yeah, it was. I thought it was kind of strange with the scheduling of this series because game one was like 3 days into the playoffs, and I don't know why they really did that. Maybe it's because there's not that much travel to do for them since they're so close to each other. Um,
I don't know.
it, it it's going to be pretty funny to hear this. I picked the Tampa Bay Lightning to win the Stanley Cup this year. Andre Vasilevsky going into the playoffs has been unbelievable. And then game one happens and he was non-existent. I mean, the
They
whole team
looked
was
so bad.
non-existent. The entire team was, but Andre didn't play well either. I still like Tampa though too. I feel like they can bounce back. Obviously, they really need to win today. You don't want to go down 2-0 heading back to the Panthers. But Tampa Bay, they're so loaded with talent. I mean, obviously they don't have Steven Stamkos anymore, but they were able to replace him with Jake Gensel, who was Stanley Cup winner with the Pittsburgh Penguins, great player. And then obviously defensemen are good. Ryan McDonough, he leads the league in plus minus with like plus 43, I think it is. And then you've got Victor Hedman, of course, that Swedish monster who's one of the best puck handlers in the league. I'm still going to go with the Lightning in the series. I think that they can bounce back and get it done, but man, the Panthers are so good. Obviously, the talent there. They got Matthew Tkachuk back from injury too. Brad Marchand, they got him from the Bruins, and then you've got Sergei Bob Bobrovsky in net for them.
Big Bob, playoff
Yeah, great
Bob.
great matchup in that series. And then looking at the Maple Leafs and the Senators, that series is pretty much over. It seems like the Leafs are up 2-0. And then obviously, like we talked about before, how big overtime games are in the Stanley Cup. You know, Max Domi scores that goal, and I thought Ottawa was playing pretty well, and they were maybe going to have a chance to steal it and go back home 1-1. But Max Domi scored, and now it's 2-0, just like that. So it's crazy to see how one goal just can make a total difference. Yeah, I don't see Toronto giving up that series at all, to
I
be
think
honest.
I think Ottawa had to win game two, and honestly, they were the better team.
Hmm.
I missed the first two periods because school, but I watched the third period and overtime. Ottawa was the better team,
Hmm.
and they couldn't get it done. Sucks, but that kind of ended their season.
Hmm. And I think that um, that's a good point to make, just because like sometimes when it comes to the playoffs and stuff, the really, really good teams are able to win even when they don't bring their best game
You have to.
and just try to find a way to win. And the Maple Leafs were able to show that in game two for sure. That resiliency is so important for every team to have. And then moving on in the East too, we've got the Capitals against the Canadians.
Let's go, Ovi.
Alexander Ovechkin doing his thing down in Washington. That stadium and that barn is electric. I mean, the fans go so crazy when he scores. He obviously had two goals in the first game, including the overtime winner. I think that the Canadians are a really good team. They've got a lot of young players. Great goaltending in Sam Montembeault too. And then remember this name too. They have a defenseman named Lane Hudson who is gonna be a superstar in the National Hockey League. So it's good right now that I think the Canadians are getting some playoff experience for their young group of talented players, but they've got to go up against the monster in the Grade Eight and the Washington Capitals, who have been great all year long. And then, of course, with Washington too, they've got Logan Thompson starting for them in goal, who looked phenomenal in game two. The Canadians were really peppering him a lot, and he stood on his head and made save after save. So shout out to the Washington Capitals. I think they closed that series out pretty easily too. And then the last series, the Hurricanes and the Devils. So unfortunate for the Devils. They lost Jack Hughes during the season. And then in the first game of this series, they lost his brother, Luke Hughes. He also has a shoulder injury, which is exactly what his brother Jack had. And then they had another defenseman get hurt, Brendan Dillon, in game one. So they're just too banged up. And Carolina, for the first time in years, I mean, they've been making the playoffs. I think it's like 7 straight years where they made the playoffs, but they've never really gone into the playoffs with a healthy team. Right now, they're fully healthy, looking really good. It's pretty interesting down there how they acquired Mikko Rantanen and then he didn't fit well, so they decided to trade him. But in that trade, the Dallas Stars gave up Logan Stankoven, who is a young, really, really good player. He scored 2 goals for Carolina in game one against the Devils. So yeah, I think obviously NHL playoffs, it's such an electric time. Um, and for my bracket, I picked the Tampa Bay Lightning to beat the Vegas Golden Knights in the finals. We'll see if that happens. I'm not too sure though, because the Florida Panthers just scored.
I was just gonna bring
So
that
this is
up.
this seems like a disaster of a bracket to me. Which it is what it is. I mean, it's NHL, and I think that's the best thing about the NHL playoffs too, is that it doesn't matter if you're the 1 seed or the 8 seed in either conference, you got a chance to win. And I
Well,
think that, transitioning into NBA too, that doesn't really happen that much in the NBA. It's typically the top teams that are always there in the finals.
the NBA playoffs is a disaster. It's terrible entertainment. The play-in tournament, I think it was a cool idea. We're getting multiple sub 500 teams in the playoffs that, ooh, if they win 2 games, they make the playoffs just to get swept and lose by 40. Like half the series in the first round, which I get it. You have the top seeds playing the bottom seeds. But legitimately, 4 out of the 8 total series are terrible. You have, let me pull them up real quick. You have 3 series in the West, which the West is stacked, so good series are bound to happen. Clippers
Hmm.
Nuggets, great series. Probably going to be the best one of them all. Lakers Timberwolves, been a good series.
Hmm.
Warriors Houston, which Warriors have some injuries, so that might turn into a disaster.
Yep. Jimmy Butler obviously getting hurt
It's tailbone.
yesterday. Oh, and that I've had that injury before actually.
So have
A
I.
um
It's not fun.
a contusion in your pelvic bone. I mean, when I tell you it hurts to sit, it hurts to sit. Your butt's on fire
Hurts
practically.
to do everything.
Yeah, literally. It's awful.
Stand, sit, lay down, it doesn't matter.
Oh, it's terrible.
Then you have the Eastern Conference, where the only kind of good series is the New York Knicks and the Detroit Pistons,
Hmm.
which the Pistons are a really young, kind of scrappy team. It's a cool story. I still think the Knicks take care of business in 5 or 6, but the Eastern Conference, like, who wants to see the Celtics versus the Magic? Okay,
I'm a Celtics fan, so
you're so no Jason Tatum. They won by 10. I don't care. Bucks Pacers. You know what? Even though on paper it's relatively even, none of them have a shot to win anything serious. So why do I care?
hmm
Out of the East, it's going to be Cleveland or Boston. So until they
Yep.
play each other, it doesn't matter.
Hmm.
And the West, you get some good matchups, but like Memphis sneaking into the playoffs just to lose by 50 to OKC, who cares?
Yeah.
And I don't have a real direction on how to fix that,
Hmm.
but it's terrible to watch. Like, I'm avid sports fan. I will watch any big game that's on TV, and I don't care about the NBA playoffs.
Hmm. Yeah, I think an interesting thing too is I saw a tweet the other day. Adam Silver came out and said that these were the highest playoff ratings in like 25 years. And I was thinking to myself,
How?
how? How in the world is that possible?
How
I
is that
mean,
higher than Kobe versus the Celtics?
no idea. No idea. How is it higher than the years where you had Cleveland and Golden State going
Yeah,
after each other? I
the
mean,
3-1 comeback.
yeah, I was shocked when I first saw that. I really agree with you too about the play-in tournament. I think it was a good idea to start with that, but
Get rid of it.
one of the reasons why I really don't like it is because one of the biggest issues in the NBA is load management. I mean, the amount of times you see players taking nights off because they've got little, bruises and little boo-boos. Um, I think that the play-in tournament actually like promotes load management even more because you don't have to worry about getting into the top eight seeds. You can be a top 10 seed and still have a chance at the playoffs. So
Which 10 out
you
of
don't feel that
15, you don't have to
it's
be
crazy.
good.
It's crazy. And you don't have to feel the pressure to play players night in and night out to try to make the playoffs because it's 10 spots. I mean, like you said, I think it was a good idea at first, but I'm not a fan. Not a fan at all. And also, I'm personally not really a fan of the NBA Cup either. The mid-season tournament that they have. I think Adam Silver, it's good that
I
he's
differ
trying
on
out
that.
it's good that he's trying out these things, but with the NBA Cup, I think that with that tournament, they're gonna have to get to a point where basketball becomes more of an international game, and maybe we have a cup of like the NBA teams and European teams also mixed in there. I think that that would be better almost in a sense. I think it would be more exciting. Obviously, you have to get to a point where the European leagues are really good and those teams can compete with NBA teams. But I don't know. I'm just not really a fan of these new things that they're implementing in the NBA. I just
I'm better with the NBA Cup just because the regular season is so bad. It gives you something to actually tune into and watch. But what would be hard with the international play is all the leagues have such different rules.
That's a
You
good point
take
too. Yeah.
you take Real Madrid versus, I don't know, the Charlotte Hornets.
Give me Real.
One team's going to be goaltending and it's allowed and the other team isn't. So you basically have to change one team's play style to fit the other team's rules. And I think it would be kind of cool to change since the NBA is better, the best league in the world. Go play by European rules.
I've actually been saying that for quite some time now. I think like European rules and like the Olympic rules, how it seems like they just allow more physicality and goaltending isn't really as strict. You can obviously like bat the ball off the rim and stuff. And you look at the NBA now, like it's all about offense. It's just all
It's
about the three-point shot.
terrible.
And I want to see guys going up and, bringing physicality and intensity. And I just feel like the game is so predicated on, speed and finding open space and just chucking up threes. I don't
We
know.
need a guy like Zach Randolph back in the league.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, I want a physical bully in there,
I mean,
you
it was a
know?
bowling ball of a human
Hmm.
that made giant NBA players look like middle school boys.
Hmm.
And just it's a play style I genuinely don't think we'll ever see again.
Hmm.
And I think the NBA would benefit from having a guy like Zach Randolph.
Hmm.
but it'll never happen.
Yeah. Yeah. So quickly, just to wrap up NBA playoff talk, obviously we've got a lot to discuss today. I filled out a bracket for NBA playoffs too. And of course, I picked the Boston Celtics to win it all. Very, very biased. I don't care.
Lakers
Um,
in five.
Absolutely love that team. Hey, man, Lakers in five is, I thought maybe if the T-Wolves were going to win game two, that was already going to be over. But the Lakers battled back in that, game two and got the dub. Um, I've got the Celtics and the Thunder in the finals. Celtics beating the Thunder. OKC just looks really, really good. Obviously, we said it already, the Grizzlies squeaking into the playoffs and the stupidity of the play-in tournament.
Thunder beating them doesn't mean anything to me, though. It's not
No,
impressive.
no, and they're beating them by 51 too, so it's clearly not competitive at all.
The Thunder don't even feel good about winning those games.
Right,
The
exactly.
game's won before they tip off.
It's crazy. It's
And
just crazy. So
sad,
yeah, I
but
think
I don't know how to fix that.
yeah, I think like you said, the West is pretty wide open. Um, I would be shocked if it wasn't the Thunder, the Lakers, or the Warriors pending Jimmy's health. I was going into the playoffs thinking that those three teams were probably going to be the favorites in the West. And then obviously with the East, like you said, it's between Cleveland and Boston. I mean, there's,
That's until they play, it doesn't matter. All those
yeah,
games are for
and
fun.
end of list. And, people might think that the Knicks are going to do something like our general manager, Brendan Crawford, huge New York Knicks fan, but I took the Pistons in that series. I really think it's a good matchup for them, and they beat the Knicks in game two without Isaiah Stewart either. So yeah, obviously that going on, but I mean, like you said, it's kind of irrelevant when you have, you just know that Boston and Cleveland are going to be the two teams that,
Unless Brian Carmelo Anthony flies down to the Garden, the
yeah,
Knicks aren't beating those teams.
no, no, and neither are the Pacers either. I
Pacers,
just don't
give
see
them
it.
a couple years,
I agree. The Pacers are heading into the right direction.
but this year,
And
no.
yeah, I also do love, I like Tyrese Halliburton a lot. A lot of people are not like, they think he's like annoying and stuff, but I love how he just like, just doesn't care. And he's trash talking Dame and Giannis all the time. For a youngster to do that, I have great respect for Tyrese Halliburton.
He
And
was
I think he's
voted the
got a wonderful
most
game.
he was voted the most overrated player in the NBA by NBA players.
That's shocking. I
That's
think that's
by his league
terrible.
mates.
But here's the thing too. He had an up and down year this year as well, especially at the start. He struggled for sure. Shoot though, I want guys that can perform when it counts,
And he can.
and and he can. He showed that. And last year they made it to the Eastern Conference Final. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure they
I
made
think
it.
so. Either
Yeah.
last year or 2 years ago.
Hmm. Um. So yeah, I think the Pacers are on the rise. Good young team, but it's all about Cleveland and Boston in the East. So yeah, NBA playoffs. It'll be fun to see who ends up winning that, but
It'll be fun in 2 weeks when the real games start,
yeah, exactly. Um,
which is
and like
not
we
something you
said,
see in the NHL. NHL, it's
right.
fun from day one.
Hmm.
NBA, it's like, oh, the playoffs started. I'll check in 10 days.
Yeah, I'll check in when the conference finals are going on.
Yeah, until we're down to sometimes you get a good second round matchup, but really until the conference finals,
Hmm.
I'll look at the scores. I won't watch the games.
Yeah. And now transitioning to today's event, obviously the 2025 NFL Draft going on today. Um, like I said in the introduction, it just seems like this year's quarterback class isn't too great.
Not deep, but I think the people that are good are actually really good.
I do too. Yeah, I do too. But you look at the other positions, I mean, there's a lot of really, really good players in this draft.
Who is your number one best player in the draft?
I I think Travis Hunter, I just he's a unicorn. And
True.
he's also a unicorn that won the Heisman too. And I think that having a guy that you can plug in to whatever your team needs is such a special trait to have. I mean, from what I've heard about Travis Hunter, teams are leaning towards playing him more in a defensive back, cornerback role. But then you've got a team like the Cleveland Browns at pick number two. And what I'm hearing with them is like they have pretty good defensive backs already.
They'll put him at
So you,
receiver.
yeah, you put him at receiver and then maybe have him as like the third or fourth cornerback on the depth chart, you know? I think that just the fact that he is so versatile on both sides of the balls, just, I mean, literally his position. I'm looking at um, some rankings right now on CBS Sports. They have his position listed as ATH. So they
Athlete.
just have him as athlete. That's his position. He's an athlete. Um, so yeah, I really like Travis this year. What about you? What do you think?
I love Travis Hunter. I think he's a good person. I mean, anybody with a brain knows he's a great athlete. It's easy to see. But I just think when we're looking back in 3 to 5 years, Abdul Carter, defensive end from Penn State, will be the best player from this draft. He's a little bit of a diva, but not in the sense where he's going to cause his team drama. He genuinely thinks he's the best defensive end in the world right now. Not best in
Hmm.
the draft, best in the world.
Yeah,
And I just think if he lands in the right situation, he could be special like immediately. I hope he falls
absolutely.
to 11 somehow for the 49ers, but he's projected to go third right now, last I looked.
Hmm.
And the kid's a freak.
Oh yeah. I mean, I totally agree. It's just number 11 at Penn State. I mean, that just there's something about those players on that, defensive line that it's just unbelievable. I mean, you look at Micah Parsons, how great he was at Penn State and how great he is with Dallas. And now you've got Abdul Carter. The thing that I really, really like from him, and they talked about this a lot too, during the playoffs, he had I think it was like a foot injury. I don't know if it was the same injury that he had going on during like the combine or whatever, but
He was banged up towards the end of the year, but it
he had
didn't
an
matter.
injury. Yeah, going into the semifinal game, I believe they played Notre Dame. Yeah, Notre Dame.
Yeah.
And people were kind of on the fence. Is he going to play? Is he not going to play? And he played. And you look at a lot of college guys now, the bowl games, the playoffs, sometimes they think about their pro career a lot and they don't play in those games. I think Abdul Carter really, really helped his stock in that moment because he said, "Hey, I'm going to play with this
He's
injury.
so
I'm going to
good.
play with it and I'm going to play at a high level too." And,
I just feel
showing
like
off that resiliency is just so important, I
100%.
think.
I just feel like Abdul Carter always feels like he has something to prove to somebody
Hmm.
when, let's be real, early on in the season, everyone knew he was the best defensive end in the country. But he still has that need to prove himself, which you get that hunger with a guy that talented, dangerous things can happen. I wouldn't be shocked if
Hmm.
he won a defensive player of the year in his future in the
Hmm.
NFL. He is
I
that
agree.
good.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to see what's going to happen with the 49ers. There's rumors that we're trading. Brandon Ayuk today. Um,
That rumor's been going on forever now, it seems like.
it has, but the rumor was we were trading Brandon Ayuk to go up to three for Abdul Carter.
Hmm.
So I genuinely don't know if that trade would make me happy. I love Abdul Carter, but you take Brandon Ayuk off this 49er team, and our wide receiver core is Juwan Jennings, Ricky Pearsall with his gunshot wound, and Jacob
Ricky,
Cowing,
way to
which
go.
I'm not sure if you're familiar with McMillan, wide receiver out of Arizona.
Oh my, Cat McMillan. My goodness,
He
that's an
did
athlete.
say, he said Jacob Cowing is the best wide receiver he ever played with.
Huh?
So Cowing didn't play much his rookie year. I think we're going to see a lot more of him in his sophomore season,
Hmm.
but wouldn't be shocked if Ayuk gets shipped out.
Hmm. Yeah, I think it seems like that there hasn't been too many trades going on yet for the draft.
There
Obviously,
will
we'll
be.
see. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's been rumors surrounding Cleveland at the two spot. Maybe they trade back. Obviously, earlier today they had a trade with the Houston Texans, and it wasn't really like a blockbuster trade. They traded, it was like fifth, sixth rounders getting traded. But a lot of people are saying maybe they use those picks to trade out of the second. Some talk that maybe Jacksonville would be interested in moving up. Um, and then Jacksonville's been, there's been a lot of talk about them trading. And then Chicago too. I've heard some rumors at 10 that they might want to move up and take a guy like an Ashton Genty, um, running back out of Boise State.
Another
But I mean,
unicorn.
yeah, I mean, I think that the trades will start trickling in for sure once we get closer to the draft. I'm gonna see what time it's at tonight
Believe
when it
five
starts.
fifteen. But
Yeah,
couple
it says 5 o'clock, but
o'clock.
it's probably around 5:15 to 5:30. We'll start naming guys.
So I don't plan to have many predictions because draft day is ridiculous and you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, we're not Mel Kiper by any
No,
means.
we have no
So,
insiders. This is just from the dome.
hmm,
I think Genty finds his way to the Chicago Bears, and oh my, would that be a great fit?
that'd be awesome.
That young offense, special.
Hmm.
And
And
I do
they
find
they
it,
did
it, no, continue.
they Chicago bulked up their offensive line this offseason. I
They
know they
did.
got Joe Tooney from the Kansas City
Chiefs.
Chiefs. Then they got another guy, I can't remember who off the top of my head, but I know they've been bulking up that
Houston?
offensive line for sure, which is
Forget.
what they needed after last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And another interesting trend is Shador Sanders' draft stock is falling.
Hmm.
Within the last
Big time.
12 hours, he went from projected top 10 to right now, he's projected end of the first round. So I don't know what happened. Maybe his teammates didn't show up to his birthday party. We see a
That's the
little
rumor.
draft day reference.
Hmm.
But Jackson Dart's stock is rising, and I actually think Jackson Dart's a better football player than Shador Sanders.
I agree.
But
I
it's
agree.
very interesting to see how it's all going to shake out. The only
Hmm.
guarantee I have in life is Cam Ward, you are a Titan.
Absolutely.
That's all I can tell you. It's going to happen.
Hmm. And obviously, I don't know if this was yesterday or today, but Tyler
Lockett,
Lockett signing with the Tennessee Titans. It's pretty good. And then obviously Cam Ward, we saw he went viral all over the internet because he was playing Fortnite and he was talking about his favorite receivers. Um, Talked about Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson in that list, but then he also threw in Calvin Ridley and Treylon Burks. So
Treylon
there you go.
Burks
And
is that's an insane name to throw in there, but he knows who his teammates are going to be. You got to please the crowd.
Hmm.
I just, it's going to be interesting to see how it all shakes out. I'm very excited to
Hmm.
see what my 49ers do. We have a lot,
Hmm.
I know we were injured a lot last year, but we have a lot of holes to fill.
Hmm.
And whether we go offensive line, we go defensive line, we go receiver, who knows? But
Yeah. And then,
hopefully we do something.
yeah, and then obviously for my team, the New England Patriots, we're sitting right now at the number 4 pick. I think there's lots of different ways we can go. If I had to guess, we're going to go with Will Campbell, the offensive tackle out of LSU. I think he's a great fit. Obviously, they say that he has short arms. I don't care.
I
The
don't
tape
care.
talks, and he has been phenomenal and been dominating the SEC. I just want to quickly give out some names too that I'm really, really keeping an eye on. Obviously, Ashton Genty, that dude is awesome. I mean,
That's the best word to
he's just a
use.
video
He's
game.
awesome.
It's just, I thought actually he should have won the Heisman this year. Personally, if I had a vote, I would have picked him.
I agree.
Um, but wherever he goes, that's going to be a step up. I think that this year's running back class is pretty good, which is kind of ironic because obviously we had all this talk with how running backs aren't that valuable, and now we're seeing with Saquon and Derrick Henry and all those players that the running back position is really, really important in the NFL. I'm going to give you another running back that I'm looking at too, Amarian Hampton out of North Carolina. He is one of the best and most well-rounded running backs I think I've seen coming out of college. Really good at running the ball, but then also really, really effective pass catcher as well, which, as we know, is so important in the National Football League now. Um, just giving a couple more names here. Jihad Campbell, linebacker from Alabama.
He's a dog.
Holy cow, that dude is a freak. People have been a little bit worried with him because he did have some injury trouble while he was at Alabama. But my goodness, that guy is a stud. The sheer athleticism, physicality that he plays with, obviously coming from Alabama, he's going to be great. And then, obviously, of course, like I said before, too, Ted McMillan out of Arizona. 6'4",
Great.
220, a big, well-rounded wide receiver, really good route runner too.
I see him
Keeping
like a
my eyes
more
on
athletic
him.
Drake London. He's a more
Hmm.
athletic Drake London, and that's
Hmm.
scary.
That says a lot because Drake London, he's an athlete for sure.
Yeah.
Um, and then I've got two more guys on my list here. One guy is an edge rusher from Marshall, Mike Green, who is 6'3", 251 coming out of Marshall.
Big boy.
This guy is unbelievable. And the first time I ever really saw him, obviously because I don't really follow Marshall football that much, the first time I saw him was he was at like a Senior Bowl event and they were going through drills and he went viral for this clip of him just absolutely bullying an Oregon offensive lineman, like just throwing him on the ground. And I've seen some highlights from Mike Green. He is going to be really, really good. And obviously, of course, it's great to see a guy from a smaller school that's, not really known for their football. Obviously, of course, Randy Moss came from
I
Marshall,
was
but
gonna say that
yeah, but
Moss.
just not a Power Four, Power Five
Yeah.
conference team at all. So it's good to see them. And then another guy that I'm looking at, Penn State, another Penn State player, the
Tyler
tight
Warren.
end, Tyler Warren. Oh my goodness.
He's
That
another
kid is going to be
unicorn.
good. Oh yeah, he's going to be good. And it's interesting too because we've had this trend now for a little bit that tight ends, it seems like, are going a little bit earlier. There's not too many that go early, but you look at a guy like Brock Bowers last year. You know, I think he was drafted like eight. 8th by the Chargers.
Not
And
sure.
obviously, I mean, what a campaign he had with the Raiders this year. So I think, yeah, Tyler Warren, another guy to look out for sure. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens, and hopefully my Patriots can do something good, man. I was spoiled for years and years, but man, it's miserable now.
You have a quarterback. That's all that matters.
It's a good point. It's a really good point.
It's hard to find a
Um,
good one. You have one.
mhm.
I think that does bring us to the conclusion of episode 7.
Mhm.
Thank you all for listening. Hopefully you enjoyed
Yeah.
it. Any final thoughts, Trevor?
Yeah, it's been good. Episode number 7, wrapping it up. Obviously, thank you to our viewers, people that are returning, new viewers. Like, comment, and subscribe. We thank you all for your continued support. Obviously, enjoy NFL and NBA playoffs. It's going to be great. And then the NFL draft going on tonight too. And then obviously too, we've got Champions League knockout rounds going on. I've got PSG beating Arsenal really quick, and I've got Barcelona beating Inter. So
Agree.
PSG Barca final for that. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.